and then to loading the data. So I went to that concept again. So it was very much clear. I need to go to again one of your demo, which was for yesterday. But pretty much I got the concepts very clear how the data flow works.
Okay, so is it confusing that we were discussing
No,
certain things
no,
yesterday?
no,
Nothing, right?
no. Yeah, the first day was like, when you were doing certain switching and, the different fields, I was not catching up. I mean, you were showing just the functionality, but I was getting in deep.
Hmm.
That was the problem. Like, if you
Okay.
were going to a presentation, I would have, been very easy. But when the screen was getting switched and, all these, right click and things you were executing, that, I was just, what's going on?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So,
your method of teaching is really very good.
okay, thank you.
Mm.
So, today, I have still couple of slides left over in the demo. We will
Yeah,
complete that so that we can get a complete idea like what BW is.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the architecture diagram which you are seeing on the screen. So in this architecture diagram, what you're finding is on the bottom, it is the different source systems. Like yesterday, we have seen it like this. This diagram shows that we have SAP and non-SAP source systems. Like in the similar way, this diagram also says the same thing, that you might have an R3 file non-SAP or an SAP BW itself as a source to another SAP BW system. Okay, so what you need to understand is whenever you are connecting to different source systems, there will be certain interfaces. If you are connecting to an SAP, it will be BW Service API. If you are connecting to XML, it is Web Service. If you are connecting to a Teradata, it is UD Connect. To Oracle, it is DB Connect. Okay, just we need to know what are the interfaces. Okay, we are no one who are configuring these interfaces. It's the base system which is configuring the interfaces. We have to just know an idea that okay, so and so interfaces are there. Using this interface, the system is able to connect. Okay, to make it more clear, let me show you an R3 data source, and you can see that where that interface comes into picture. So RSA1, that is the the one which we need to remember. Okay, so you can see over here, as I told, different source systems are there in the source systems button, and what all you are seeing, UD Connect, DB Connect, these are the source systems, as well as the sometimes they are giving the name of the source system, sometimes they are mentioning the interface over here. Okay, okay.
What
Let
about
me
the external system? Like if I need to do,
Yeah,
yeah.
external would be a third party file system, third party any other system.
So I can connect to SQL system as well if I need
Yeah, yeah,
to connect.
correct. So what you can understand is like maybe it may be any system, but you can pull the data into BI. So now let me connect to the ECC, the R3 or the ECC system. So generally it would be like this T90 CLNT 090. That is your R3 connection. Okay. So I'm connecting to that. The moment I click on any source system, it takes me to the related data sources. Okay, yesterday I showed you that how we configure an info package. Just right click, create an info package. That's it. So you will have an info package like this. What you need to understand is if you check in the extraction tab, what is it using? Access to SAP data through Service API. What is the Service API? Again, going back, it is nothing but your interface. So that's the reason I am telling that you need to have an idea that what is the interface so that it will be more clear. Because you are no way configuring
Got it.
this. You are no way configuring this interface or doing anything. The moment you are connecting to that source system and pulling the data, obviously the interface is already set, right? So just we
Yep.
need to know what is the interface. Okay, so that is about the interface. Yeah, okay, now again coming back to this our architecture diagram. So the bottom stuff is clear that all the source systems. In the middle we are finding something called as a staging engine. Okay, first let us understand what is meant by staging. Staging, as you might understand by the normal terminology, somewhere where we temporary place where we put it, halt it,
Yep.
temporary halt. Okay, so it is called as a staging. So yesterday in the data flow, we got to know that when I run execute info package, it comes to the PSA, persistent storage area. Okay, this can I call it as a staging area? Yes, Imran.
PSA is a staging area, right?
Yeah,
And
correct.
the data in the PSA will be raw, correct? Like no aggregation.
Yeah, raw in the sense like whatever you have in the source, the same thing will be there.
Yep.
No transformation. You can even think it like that. It's not transformed. It's as it is in the source. Like let us say if you are something in the source, like small letters, the same small letters will be coming. If you are having some special character, same special character. Just dumping into BWPSA. So this is nothing but your temporary storage area. Okay. Now yesterday what
And
we
what is the format? Sorry. What is
format,
the format of this data?
yeah,
Like, is it file,
it's a
in tables?
two-dimensional table.
Okay. Okay.
A two-dimensional table. So in uh, R3 you're storing in tables. In PSA also it would be in the table.
Yep.
And maybe in the file it's somewhat like this. If you open any file, the data might be like this. This when you bring into PSA it would be in the form of a table only.
Yep.
Okay. So where did we send the data again? From PSA, I did the transformation. Then I ran the DTP and I further send it to the info queue. So this is what we did yesterday. So my final, my transformed data is in my final target info queue. Okay, now yesterday as I was telling, there are real info providers, virtual info providers. Within real info providers, I told you that we have info queue, we have
Okay.
DSO, yeah, data store object, and characteristic info provider. Okay, these are the things. Now, so you can say that only three are there for real info provider. Depending upon scenario, I have to choose which one I need to use. Okay, so now let us get an overview that when we use this. So when we have, uh, okay, so uh, first of all, we need to know that what is the property of cube, info cube. It is summation. I will tell you what does summation mean. Summation means, let us say it is customer number 101, ABC is the name. He has purchased 10 kgs. Again, let us say you are loading the duplicate data again by mistake or by any case. you are loading the same data again, customer number 101 ABC and 10 kgs, or like this. So since you are loading the same data to the cube, what will happen? Summation. So the finally what will be there in the cube? 101 ABC and 20 kgs. So this is the default property of a cube. So we are having multiple advantages with an info cube, and one of the disadvantages is that by mistake if a duplicate value comes, if you are loading the same thing again, it gets summed up. So obviously summing up means value will be different. So there will be mismatch between the source and the target. So it
Even if I do full load?
yeah, like anything, like once anything is there, if you are loading again, it will just sum up. Now let us say this thing is there. If you load again 101 ABC 10 kg, it will be finally 101 ABC 30. So if an entry is there and you are loading again, it will just sum up. That is the basic property of InfoQ. Okay. As of now, we can know, we need to understand this much about InfoCube is sufficient. Now property of DSO. What is the property of DSO? Overwriting. Okay, so what do we mean by overwriting? So let us say 101 ABC and 10 kgs is there. Next time you are sending 101 ABC and 20 kgs, or the same 20 kgs. So what will happen? Finally you will be having the earlier one would be overwritten. So this one first it was there. Now you are sending this one. So the second one overwrites the first. So it will be 20 kgs. Okay. Okay.
So
So
how do you know that they are duplicate rather than they are not genuine records?
yeah, that would be again based on the primary key concept.
Okay.
So depending upon the primary key, it does this overwriting and summation. Okay.
Okay.
So, but again, that primary key is the combination of primary key is different for a cube and DSO. So as of now, let us just understand that if something like this comes, that is summation and this is overwriting. Okay, now in a one scenario, like let us say customer has sent this data to us. Okay, first he has sent us this data. So let me put it in the source system. Source system, this value is there. In the DSO, I have this same. I have loaded this into the DSO. Fine. Now, okay, let me take a cube. Let us take first a cube and understand. Now customer is telling that, okay, we have done a mistake. By mistake on R3 side, someone has done a wrong entry. We are correcting that and resending it. Please see that it is updated in the BI side. So they have corrected it saying that 101 is ABC, but it was 40 kgs. They have intimated us. Let us think like this. They have intimated us and done. So now if it is a cube, what will happen? ABC and 40 would come. Finally, it would store 101 ABC 50 kgs. So even though they have intimated, nothing can be done from our side. This is what would happen in the cube. Now let us say in the DSO same scenario is there. 101 ABC.
So that is what 40.
Yeah, 101 ABC. So 101 ABC
So in the
and
first case is trying to insert and the other case is trying to update some
yeah,
record.
correct.
on the primary key.
Yeah, correct. So as you are saying that in DSO, when such a thing happens, like what they have updated it on the source, they want us to update it on the target. Now when the DSO is there, automatically it will overwrite. The earlier one will be overwritten, and finally you would be having the 101, ABC and 40. So like this, what happens is sometimes a set of data is loaded into the queue. Someone might have deleted particular records. Out of 10 sales documents, someone has deleted two documents, or someone has deleted that entire period data or half of the period of data. In those discrepancy cases, when half of the data is there and half of the data is not there, when you are reloading again, the one which is not there, it will be inserted correctly. The one which is already there, it will be duplicated, right?
So in the transformation, we don't have anything that we can specify.
No, no. This is the basic property of a cube. Okay, so
Okay.
these are the disadvantages which we are having. So this case might arise anytime, like there might be some changes in the source for the same primary key. We cannot say that it is a one-off situation. The changes might occur anytime, like either they are updating the value or something might happen, or similar primary key, another record might have come. So to avoid all this wrong information due to summation, what they do is first have a source system, DSO, then a
Okay.
queue. So
Right, right.
okay, so further before
So
the
the first,
DS, yeah. So further before the DS, so what we are having, we are running an info package. Okay, I'm just adding up the steps. We are running info package, getting it into PSA, then have the transformation, then have DTP, and over here
so
again,
DTP is a process.
yeah, correct.
Okay, just a process. Okay.
Just like your info package.
Yeah. Okay.
Then again we have a transformation, then again a
Then DTP.
DTP, and finally into the queue. So what you are doing, instead of a one direct target, you are having one more as a s- intermediate thing. That is nothing but a staging. Okay, so let us see what will happen. Okay, so this would be the thing: source system, DSO, and queue. This is how this thing can work. So what will happen in this scenario is you already have a staging area in PSA that stores temporary data that you are updating it to the DSO. Fine. For the reason why you are updating to DSO is just it will look after the overwriting things. If any duplicates are there, it will look after the overwriting, and then it will, okay, further to make it clear, what I would do is how it will look after, I'll just explain you so that you can get an idea. So source system 101 ABC 10 kgs. So this is just another demo only. It's not a subject we are seeing, just overview. Okay, so 40 kgs DSO 101 ABC 10 kg 101 ABC 40 kg. Okay, now to the cube 101 ABC 10 kg. At this moment, what happens is, what is the difference between these -10 plus 40? So earlier there was 10 kgs. what it is doing, since it is overwriting, a -10 will be there and the new record 40. Whatever it has overwritten and whatever is the new value, it will combine. So it is 30, right? So it will
Yeah.
send 101 ABC and 30 kgs. So finally, if you now add it up or see, you will have the similar thing. Like in DSO, it would be because of overwriting in DSO, it become like this. Because now also summation will only happen in the queue, but the summation is happening with the difference, not with the repeat value. So it will be 40 kgs. So this is how they are able to tackle this overwriting with the help of DSO and finally sending it to the queue. This point is clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's insert on the.
Yeah. So you just need to understand that just because an underlying DSO is there, whatever change is there, only that change is being sent. Change is sent.
So if I query the DSO, it's going to show me two records with -10 and 40. Oh no, it's just internal to SAP how it's
Uh,
doing.
okay, can you repeat again?
Yeah. So let's say the source for the first time the source comes as a 10 kg, right? The second time it says a 40 kg to DSO.
Yes.
So that -10 plus 40, can I when I query this record in DSO, I mean, can I directly query these records? Can I see them? And if I see them, I
Yeah, yeah.
will see one record or two records.
No, no. You will be having only one record. It will be just overwritten.
Okay. So
Like
that will
it's, yeah,
be okay. Okay. Okay.
like
So
in the,
-10 40 is just internal to the BW, how it handles the record, sending it to the queue.
yeah, correct. Correct point. So in the first phase itself, it is overwritten. The first line itself, it has overwritten. But the
Okay,
change
got it.
only is sent to the queue. Correct. So this is what is happening. So this kind of overwriting, moreover, like as you are asking now, so why you might think that, okay, cube is having certain disadvantage and DSO is looking after that. So instead of, now we are talking that source system, PSA, DSO, queue. So my data after it is in the PSA, I am sending into queue, DSO. DSO is looking after all the overwriting. Why do I need a cube again? It's unnecessary to storing the same set of data in the DSO and in the cube, right?
But don't we create a model? I mean, the dimension model in the queue.
Yeah, correct. So the reason why why we are using a DSO and in the cube is more suitable for reporting.
Because in DSO, PSO, we are doing more of cleansing
Yeah, yeah.
and
Okay.
doing the quality of the data and then send it to the queue to do reporting.
Yeah. So DSO is more suitable for reporting because of its architecture and how the data is stored in it. Okay, because of this architecture and the manner in which the data is stored in it, Cube is more suitable for reporting, as well as it has many performance tuning techniques.
Like aggregation.
Yeah, correct. So this would be helping in a longer duration for improving the performance. Okay, this is the main thing. So in DSO doesn't has this performance tuning techniques, and it is not suitable for reporting. In the sense, people don't use because the architecture is not that convenient for reporting. Okay, is not suitable for reporting.
So can we see DSO like tables in DSO?
Yeah, like we are having tables
Okay.
in DS. Yes. So this is the point now. So this is the reason why I have a DSO then a cube. Okay, so what is the problem is now PSA, it is a temporary place. We are saying that the data is there in PSA. Now when I am updating to the further target, if an issue occurs, if there is any data loading error, due to something there is a data loading error, like let us say source system I am getting 101 and I am getting like this and 10 kg. Okay, instead of ABC I am getting it as like this. The special character is there. Let me put it like this, 10 kg. Okay, you have brought it into PSA. So PSA, no problem. It will get as it is. So it doesn't say anything. It will just allow to keep. Now in DSO or a cube, when you are loading, what will happen? It will throw an error, right? Because of,
Special character.
yeah, special character. Correct. So because of dollar, it will throw an error. So what we are saying, whenever this error occurs, you don't need to go to the source system again. The PSA is there, modify it in the PSA, right? You modify that record and PSA and then reload it to the queue DSO. That is one of the advantage of PSA as a temporary storage. Okay.
So that maintenance is done on PSA.
Yeah, correct. Whatever raw data is there, we can cleanse it in the PSA, manually
Mm-hmm.
edit it. This is one of the advantage. One more advantage is what? Like let us say everything is there. A- After 1 week, someone might have deleted the record in the cube, or there might be some data corruption and you want to delete the data in the cube. So ultimately you are deleting the data from the target. So again, you don't need to go to the source system. Since the target data is already there in PSA, reload from PSA to target.
So
Correct?
for how long we keep the data in PSA?
Yeah, that's what. Now coming to the same point. So what is happening is in PSA, generally each load we cannot bypass PSA in BWBI, the latest version BI 7.0. We cannot bypass a PSA. It's a compulsory mandatory that first I get it into PSA, then only I send it into target. So many loads are happening to the PSA and PSA cannot store it for a longer period. So what they do it, maximum 7 days they will be storing it. Maximum 7 to 10 days. So what
And
storing?
what is the latest version of BW? 7.4?
7.3.
7.3.
Okay, so the maximum 7 days storing in the PSA. Now what happens is before this 7 days, if any issue occurs, data deletion in the target, you can load it from PSA. After this 10 days, if something happens, what can you do?
Go to the source.
Correct. So to avoid this, what they have done is for from source system PSA to DSO and then to cube. So DSO is used as a secondary storage. Since as we have discussed above, no reporting is being done. It is just for storing the, it's looking after overwriting and storing the data, and we are sending the same data to the cube again. So now what will happen is in a normal scenario, you are loading everything to the DSO and And this thing also, what they would be doing is untransformed in the DSO. Okay, if it is transformed data in the DSO, then again some certain issue would be there for to loading it to the queue. If it is untransformed, in the sense like whatever we are getting from the source, the same thing you are dumping it into DSO. So DSO is as good as your source, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason. So now let us say after 1 month, 2 years, or any time your cube is corrupted, you want to delete some data, you can get it from the DSO. So that is how the architecture is there. So this is
So no.
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. No, sorry. So no expiry on DSO, correct?
Yeah, correct. Because this DSO is a target as such. It's not a temporary place. It's a target, and we are not
Okay.
deleting the target.
Okay.
Just like a cube, we won't delete it, right? So like that also the DSO will be left like that only. So it is
Got it.
used against temporary storage. So going now you can see this diagram. If you see this, you're first finding a PSA, then a DSO and a queue. The reason you understand right now why this sort of order is there.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So
perfect. It's very clear.
yeah, so it's better if we have such a kind of order so that we are better prepared in the future. If any data loss is there, I can get it from the DSO rather than going it to the source.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, and now you are seeing something called as a metadata repository. Okay, a metadata repository, I will explain what is it. So metadata is nothing but data about data, as it is a common terminology. Metadata is data about data. Okay. Mm, we are talking about metadata repository. So let me show you where it is. Over here in RSA1, in the bottom, if I see, you are having a metadata repository. Okay, so let me take an example of anything and make you explain what it is. Okay, so metadata repository, info package. Okay, let me show some other part. Info object. Okay, so let us take this plant zs underscore plnt. I am opening the info object separately. I am opening this one separately. So rsd1. Okay, and just see what I am doing. I am just opening the info object separately. Okay, this is the info object zs underscore plant. I am displaying it. What you are able to see as an info object, that this is the technical name, this is the short description, this is the long description, this is the data type, and this is the length. Okay, if you see over here in the metadata repository, what you're finding for that, so much information you're finding, it belongs to which system, it belongs to which version. Okay, what is the last changed person. So over here, when you are looking at the object, not much detail is there. It's an overview. But very minute detail regarding this object, the metadata information is stored in this repository. Okay, so if you want to check anything, like if there is any version issues or any issues, you want to cross check then whether the metadata is correct or not, you can come to this metadata and view the metadata repository. So this metadata will be stored for anything, like for a transformation, for a DTP, for everything the metadata will be there. Just it gives a more deeper explanation regarding that object.
So this is separate than BI content, which is
Yeah,
provided by SAP, like on the ready objects. That
correct.
is different, right?
Yeah, correct. So BI content is a different thing and this one is a different thing. So if you open any DTP, you can see so many details it is providing. Like the normal DTP, if you open also, it's providing the same details, but this one is providing further extra details. Okay, so
So if I replicate a table
yeah,
from ECC system and it is stored in my data source,
yeah,
so I can see the metadata for that table
yeah,
or
correct.
that object.
Yeah, correct. So you can see that obviously, like what you're talking about is nothing but your data source. So you can see the metadata related to the data source. So something called 2LIS. So this one I think we used it in the demo. 2LIS 11 VAHDR. So you can see the metadata to this. Okay. So who changed it last and what was the description and other things. It might not give you a complete, it might not be useful, but in some cases when something seems corrupted or something seems not good, you can come back to the metadata repository and check it. So this is one of the things which we can use metadata repository. Okay, the moment you create any minute thing, it is already captured in the metadata. Okay, so over here we are seeing something called as an OLAP processor. So what do we mean by OLAP processor? We have to understand now. Okay, so if you remember, I have told that whatever data is there in the queue, that is my final data. On my final data, I have to do the reporting. In order to do reporting, I use a query designer to design queries and analyzer, Bex analyzer to view the queries, view the report. Right? These are the tools which we said. Okay. If you see where I am designing the queries, I am designing it in a query designer. That is a separate application. So we will be getting it along with this. Okay, I have a query designer. So you can access like this programs, then Business Explorer and query designer. That is just but a simple tool where you will create a queries. And how, how where do you view this? View this in an analyzer. So what is happening?
Yeah.
The query designer is nothing but just you are designing something. Is it having any data in the query designer? No. Just
Just metadata. That's it.
yeah. You just designed that so and so would be my format of the like this. My rows will be
Yeah.
having this, my columns will be having this. That's it. When you're running
Just the
report,
definition.
yeah. So when you're running a report, what happens is, okay,
So you go to queue.
yeah, correct. So yeah, I'll go to the analyzer tool So this analyzer is nothing but a simple normal Excel sheet only with an additional tab. So what I am doing when I am running a report, the related query I am opening. Okay, then I am connecting to that system.
So when you design a query, do you need to publish the repository or no?
No, nothing.
Okay. You just say whatever.
Yeah. Okay, to make it more clear, like let me open the query designer. I'll just show you what happens so that you can understand.
So you do have a connection here. You have to make a connection to them wherever you're getting the structure from.
Yeah.
So storing somewhere that information. So you have to log in to
Yes.
the query
So
design. Okay.
yeah, I'm like that. I'm just beginning again. So first I am logging into the query designer. Let us see what we do. Then we'll see this query analyzer.
So it stores the information somewhere, I guess. Some repository or something.
Yeah,
Somewhere
correct.
maybe.
So we'll get to know that how it stores and accesses.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a query designer. What I need to do is I need to create a query. So new query. I need to choose my target based on which I have to create a query. So what is your target name? So just choose any of the target. So my DSO is there. I have chosen my DSO. Let us say, or a cube, anyone. Let me choose a cube. Okay. So whatever I want the company code. Then I want the account number. I want the plant, and I want to see the balance and quantity in the for them. So this is what was requested as a report. So we are designing it in such a format. Okay, so you can see this, you can see it in the preview. Now once we are done, we need to just save it. Save.
So these hierarchies been developed in the InfoCube, the
Uh,
plant, currency, country, or they are just one column, sorry, one attribute.
they are just one attribute. It's not an hierarchy, just an
Okay,
individual thing.
okay,
Okay, so let
okay.
me demo query on DSO. Fine.
Okay, so that's both where it saves locally on same location, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's done. Now what we discussed. So
You open from
I open a Bex analyzer to view the output. So let me, I have opened the Bex analyzer. In the Bex analyzer, I open that particular query. So just see where you have stored it. I have stored it as demo query. I am opening that. So now what will happen? According to the design which we have done, it will fetch the data and display it.
Okay. So the query store only connection information to everything.
Yes.
Okay. So there is no security. How we define security? That is at the info object level.
At many
Sorry,
levels we
info
can,
cube level.
at all the
Okay.
levels it's possible to have the security, like which
Okay.
people can access the data, which people can modify it.
Okay. Okay.
So that thing, it is a part of the security and authorizations team, SAP security team.
All right. Okay.
So
Okay.
now you have seen that how the query runs and it displays the information. Now coming back, what will happen is, if you see this left hand side diagram, you have an info cube which stores your data. In between you have a OLAP processor, online analytical processor. Okay, and in the top layer what you are finding, the queried analyzer, the tool which you are using to view the report. So based on the query definition, it goes to the OLAP processor. The processor will go to the cube, fetch the data and display it. So OLAP processor is nothing but an intermediate one which goes to the cube. It is acting as an interface which goes to the cube, fetches the data and displays. You can see it over here. You are running it on the right hand side. If you see, you are executing the query. It goes to the OLAP processor. Whatever things are there, like let us say some filtering is to be done. It
Okay.
Since you are filtering like only 10 records you want, it will go to the cube and fetch only the 10 records and show it to you.
Okay. So how do you scale cube? Like if you have 20,000 users, all of them are gonna hit this cube like randomly with all these queries, right?
Yes, like that's the
So
reason
how?
they will test it, like whether it is able to withstand so many multiple requests.
Let's see.
So
But as a solution, what is the solution for that? Like if you have performance issue with that queue, you will normally say, oh, it cannot handle those many users. You copy that queue to other server,
no,
and then that's
what
how
you
you
can do
load balance,
is
how you architect.
you can partition it. Year-wise data you can put, instead of having the entire history in one cube. Year-wise you can split it, because someone might be analyzing for a older period, someone might be looking for a current period, so it would balance it out. Or there are, as we discussed, certain other performance tuning techniques will be there, like partitioning, like compressing the cube. So when you compress the cube, obviously the performance increases. So these all things would be there, or add, or as you told, aggregates. So now you got to understand what is an OLAP processor. It is an intermediate one through which the query definition is accessed from the cube, data is fetched and displayed. So if you go back to the diagram, that is about the OLAP processor. And the above things, Business Explorer, web reporting or third party. Business Explorer is nothing but the BEX analyzer which we have seen just now. It is an Excel sheet. As I told, like if this SAP software should be installed on the system to view this BEX analyzer. If the user is mobile and it is not possible to install at each system, we'll make it as a web link. So that web link is called as a BEX web analyzer. So if someone is using that, it is called as web reporting. So the same data would be there, but instead of a system is accessing a link, instead of BEX analyzer is accessing a link, you will give user ID password and see the output. So that is about the web reporting. So now on the left hand side, if you see, there is something called as an administrator workbench. Okay, we have to understand what is an administrator workbench. So in this next diagram, it is similar to this one only. Okay, On the bottom, if you see the source system, it is talking about. In the above middle, it is talking about the staging, and the same stuff it is talking. What more detail it is giving is regarding the administrator workbench. It is saying that it is manage, schedule, monitor. Okay, now we have to understand what is this administrator workbench and what is this manage, schedule, monitor.
So one quick question here. Oh, that's staging area. It's not a storage engine. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I just confused that staging engine with the storage engine. So I thought maybe
Okay,
the data goes back to the DSO.
okay. So
Sorry.
yeah, no problem. So this is now let us discuss about this administrator workbench. Okay. Uh, Whenever we are in the development box, who is doing the loading to the object? Like running info package, running DTP. Who is doing that whenever in the development box? Like let us say I am creating a flow from source system to cube. Who will do the loading of info package and DTP?
It should be us.
Yeah, right. So manually we are doing it. Okay.
Mm.
But are we going to do it daily or hourly? No, right? Until we are sure with our
Probably.
object. Yeah. So
Mm.
until we are sure with our object. So in the development box, until we are sure with the unit testing, we do it. In the quality box, until we are sure with the quality, we do it. That's it. That is a manual activity and done. So once we send it to the production, there might be different scenarios. Like the data load might be required hourly, daily, every 3 hours, weekly. So the data loading frequency might differ according to how much latest data user wants. So user wants latest data, so it would be hourly. User wants like yesterday's data. If he wants to see it today, no problem. It will be daily load. So many objects are there. Hundreds of objects are there, and each one has a different frequency. So it's not possible to manually load them. You cannot employ so many people to manually load, and it's not possible also. So what they do is the whole data load, they are automating that. So automating the data load using a process chain. Okay, so let me show that. So process chain is the one which is the main useful thing once we are in the production box. So let us see how a process chain is and how it will look.
So that username password when you are logged into the VI system, that will be created by basis guys. So
Oh, I didn't get you. Username password would be stored as
the
a
access to VI system, like when I log into the VI system, that Workbench, right?
yeah.
So that username password is created in the VI system, or is a standard SAP login where you grant access?
No, it's different. Like for BI, it will be a separate user ID and password.
Okay, and that is created as a part of. It will be in the VI system, correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it.
So the basis people, the security people who are creating the authorization. So you need to understand one difference. Basis is nothing but is looking after connectivity. The security
So they
people
are
is,
basically administrators,
yeah, correct. Network
like
administrator, you
GPU.
can say.
Mhm.
Installation, implement, all those things. The security guy is the person who is looking after this user accounts creation, authorization to the objects and the queries and all those things, to the transaction codes.
Mhm.
So let us take an particular thing. So you can see over here DSO thing is there. Okay. Okay, to make it more clear.
So this is the administrative, sorry, administrative workbench.
No, no, not yet, not yet.
Workbench.
We are not yet over there. So if you see this thing, you are using an info package to load. There is a transformation to the target, and there will be a DTP. You can see the data transfer process over here, and you can load it. So this is what is normally happening. So you trigger the info package, you execute the DTP, then the data loading is complete. Now to automate this, if you see what they did is there is a process chain. So whatever I am talking about, this automation is nothing but it is called as a process chain. So process chain for a DS. So all the processes whatever are involved in the loading are kept as steps. So because like creating a data source, creating a DSO, creating transformations, those are one-time activity. You have already created and sent it to the production box. You don't need to create daily. What you need to do daily is do the data loading. So for that data loading, you require an info package and DTP. So every day you have to run info package so that it gets new data from the source, and you have to run the DTP daily. That data from PSA goes to the target. So this is how those two processes we are including it in a chain. Now what happens is this chain will have a start period. Just like a flow chart has start and stop, this chain has a start period. If you double click on this, maybe you can see that. So this whole thing running info package DTP for the DS. So I am include we can include it in a process chain. Okay, so RSPC. Okay, so what I wanted to show is in this start, you have the start conditions that it should start at a certain date and time. Okay, and like this. So let me just show you. Okay, so the first time when we are creating a chain, we will tell that it should start at so and so date and time. Okay, you can mention the date and time. So it will run for the first time. Like let us say you will say tomorrow morning 7 o'clock, or generally the data loading whatever will be there, it will be in the non-business hours. So business will finish at after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So in the night they will start at around 9 o'clock, or in the midnight 10, 12 they will start the data loading. So you will give the date and time. So for the first
So
time
the
it
key
will
will not be available.
uh, So the
Like if you, yeah, sorry, if you have a business like 24/7, and I have a target queue which has been, queried by, let's say, a team in,
yeah,
other part of the world. So
yes.
what will happen? Like when the processing is done, I mean, the system is down for that period.
No, no, nothing. Like it depends. Like if you are having a business in different areas, for UK you will be having a separate system. For US you will be having a separate system.
Okay.
So for UK, whatever is the night period for that, you will be loading that. For US, whatever is the night period, you are scheduling at that point.
Okay.
It's just a better practice to schedule it during the night, because during this loading, even if some error user runs the queries, the data won't be accurate because something is being loaded and you are trying to retrieve data. It's not correct. So that's the reason these loadings will be done in the night time. So you can see that
Okay.
for the first time we are specifying some date and time. Okay, so I can say that it is on 10th and so time. Again, when it should run, I can give a periodic values like after the first time it runs, it should run every hour, or it should run daily, or it should run weekly, monthly, or any other period. Okay, so like this, this is how they are scheduling the chain so that the data loading is automated. No manual intervention is required. Once you have scheduled this, you don't have to worry whether it's running or not. It will automatically run at that correct time and date. What you need to do is there may be certain issues like the DTP might fail sometime, the info package might fail sometime, either due to connectivity issue between the source and target or due to data this lowercase special characters. So you cannot leave it like that. Like you cannot say that I have scheduled the chain, let it run like that. I will not monitor it. There should be a separate team which monitors the chains. Okay, that team, what it will do is it will not monitor one chain. Okay, it will have a transaction code wherein they can monitor all the chains. Like this set of chains will be there. So their activity will be, they are also BW people only. Their activity will be coming into the office, running this transaction code and monitoring the status. Like it will be first yellow, then green if it is successful, or red. So they have to monitor the status, and if something is red, they have to go to that particular thing and fix it so that the
So
data
this
loading is
chain is
completed.
so
Yes.
this chain belongs to one object info cube, or no, they itself are one cube. Like here you see there are different steps, right? Start, rotate, and DTP blah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So these are
that's
all
what.
the steps.
It depends upon to what you are loading. If you are loading to a DSO, it will those steps will be there. If you are loading to a cube, those steps will be there. If you are loading a
So when you
bigger
create a
flow,
job,
yeah, it's
so when you created that job,
yeah,
so that if I need to run for D, I think we create a job, it's a multi-step job, right?
yes,
Start, load, BTP, attribute chain,
yes,
and then I can monitor each and every step. And if it fails, then I have to restart from the start, or no, I can restart from the step where it failed.
yeah, correct. That's a good point. So what you can do is you can see over here it failed in the info package load data. I can repeat it from the failed step. So
Okay,
wherever it fails, you can repeat it over there. Okay,
got it.
so what happens is if it fails in the info package, in the sense the source data has not come into BW, I have to repeat that step. If it fails in the DTP, only the DTP step I have to repair. So we have something called as a repeat and a repair. Repeat means the whole thing will be done again. Repair means the only the corrections will be done. So to make it simple, we are not running it from the beginning again. If we encounter any error, wherever we face the error, only that part we are fixing it.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so this is the activity of a support person or a support team. They monitor the change. Wherever the issue is there, they have to fix it up. And these people, they have to do it on a priority basis so that the data loading is not affected. They simply cannot do it like it has failed now and they will rectify tomorrow. That won't do. They have to do it on a priority basis. So you can see now, this is a
Do we
good one.
have
You can see
do,
for this, the info package load is completed. All the other above steps are completed. Only the last DTP is a failure. As I told you, you can just repair this. Wherever it fails, you can repair for DTP. For info package, since it is a, you have to get it from the source, you can repeat it for an info package. Yes, you were asking something?
yeah, I just forgot it.
Okay, okay.
Everything.
Okay. So like this thing is there. So if you go back to our thing, administrator
So do we
workbench.
have notification
Yeah,
for
correct.
our jobs?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Everything we have a notification. Like if it is completed successfully, it will go to the email ID saying that completed. If it is failed, that it will go to the email IDs or to the mobiles as an SMS that it failed.
Got it.
Okay. Uh, Okay. And now you can say that process chain is the heart of BW because without this process chain, nothing is working. It is the one which is making everything to work in the background, automating.
And full load, delta load, we will be specifying as a part of process tree or is something else?
Like you have specified it in the as a part of an info package or a DTP only.
Okay.
So since you are including them, obviously that property would be reflecting over here.
Okay.
So now you can see that manage, schedule, monitor. These are the things which we do in the administrator workbench. Nothing but the process chain. Okay. Scheduling them, monitoring the jobs. Okay. Now if you see this, this is another architecture diagram. It shows the same thing that you are loading from SAP or non-SAP system using the interfaces and get it into the PSA, then the DSO, ODS one and the same, and then you load it to the cube. You have an OLAP processor which acts an intermediary which fetches data from cube and sends it to the reports, and then you have the metadata repository which is maintaining the system consistency by storing every minute information in a detailed format. And then you have the administrator workbench where all the scheduling, administration and monitoring is going on. Okay. And one more thing which you need to see over here is there is something called as an open hub service. The meaning of open hub is like you have brought the raw data, transformed it and placed it in the cube. You have loaded it, the transformed data is available in the cube. Now that data you you might require somewhere else. Like you might require in another BW system, or you might want to download it to a file or download it to a table. So what I mean to say is your final cube or your any final info provider might act as a source for other systems. Like you can see for SAP, non-SAP systems, it might act as a source. So the process of sending data from the target in BW to any other system, it is called as open up service. Okay, so you can see over here this diagram which we saw yesterday. First we loaded to DSO1, DSO2. From there I loaded to a DSO main. From there I loaded to a cube. Now this cube is having the transformed data. I can make use of the transformed data. So I can send the data to other systems, whether it is a file or a table, SAP, non-SAP, anything. So I can, or a third-party system, third-party tool. That I am able to do with the help of open up destination. So for an open up destination, the source would be your BW object and target can be anything. This is what is meant by open up destination. So this one is also covered over here, open up destination. Clear, right, about open up destination?
Yeah, so only the structure is there, or just the complete data is when on the Open Hub server when you save them or secure push
It's
them?
open up service is just like a mechanism using which we
Okay,
send
just
it.
to provide connectivity.
Yeah. So now you can say that like if someone requires the transformed data in the BW in any other place, we use an open up service
Okay,
to send it
it's
to
an
the
interface.
to send it to the downstream systems. We can use an
Okay,
open up.
okay.
So this is our
And
one.
the
Yeah.
final output and the final output of the cube is XML, correct?
Uh, XMLA.
Like if you see the structure of the cube,
Yeah.
it's like XML/A, it's XML.
No, nothing sort of XML over here.
You see that red icons, the OLED processor goes to XML, ODBO, BAPI.
Okay, that is just again other interfaces so that we can connect to the portal and other stuffs.
Okay,
XMLA is nothing but whenever you have a web service. So you are talking about templates. So whenever you're
okay,
sending it to a web template, you can use an XML interface. That it's not that we are using it, it's just that the interface is configured like that. These are just the
okay.
interfaces. Just like we have this BAPI file XML. So you can see over here XML is there. So I can load from an XML. I can even send it to an XML output. That is
Yeah,
what
got
it.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is one more diagram regarding the data flow. It also tells the same thing that you are getting it from any non-SAP or SAP. You use an info package, you get it into the data source or PSA. Then between the info provider and the PSA, you have a transformation, you have a DTP. Transformation is there, DTP is there. Between one info provider to another info provider, again you have the transformation, DTP. So this is what we have seen in earlier case also, that between any two BW objects you require a transformation, DTP. And again you can see that between an info provider and sending it into downstream systems, you have an open up destination. To connect to the open up destination also, you require a transformation DTP. And all
What is
this,
SAP? Yeah, sorry. What
yeah,
is SAP NetWeaver BW and SAP BW?
it's both the same. NetWeaver is just the platform on which BW is there.
Okay.
NetWeaver is a big platform on which BW is a part of it.
Okay.
Okay. So all these things we have seen that we can automate it by removing manual intervention. We can automate by placing it in a process chain. So everything you can place it in a process chain. So this is about the one more architecture diagram. So this is another similar architecture diagram. You are connecting from different source systems. You have this different layers, processors and final targets. Okay, so earlier what used to be there is we used to have a visual composer, web application designer. So these are the other uh, things using which we can view the report, not only the Bex analyzer and web analyzer. There are certain other things using which we can view the reports, like the web application designer, visual composer. Nowadays they are obsolete because business
Yes.
objects has replaced all of them. What you want to achieve in business objects, it takes a longer time to achieve in visual composer. Earlier business objects was not a SAP software. So to have an alternative of their own, they were having this visual composer web application designer, saying clients that we can achieve that in BW as well. But since they have purchased BO, now these things are obsolete and more time consuming. If a person has to develop a report in Visual Composer, it takes too much time, which another one can do it in business objects quickly. Okay. So now here one more thing you are seeing, Bex broadcaster information broadcasting. You might come across this term pretty often. What is the meaning of broadcasting is user comes to the office, he runs a report. The report might take half an hour depending upon how much data he is querying. If he is querying a huge data set, it might take half an hour for the report. So he cannot come to the office, wait until that is done. So what he says that you run the query and send me the output to my email so that when I log into the system, I can just see the ready-made output. He will tell us that what is the selection condition he is entering, like which company code he wants to see the data, which period he wants to see the data, he will tell us. So what we need to do is we need to set up a system in the background. That is nothing but Bex broadcasting. Okay. So in the background, I'm scheduling that at, like, let us say user comes to the office at 9 o'clock. So at morning 6 o'clock, I will schedule the report in the background. So the report will run, and whatever output is there, maybe after half an hour or so, it will be converted into a zip file and sent it to the user's email ID. So by the time the user reaches the office, he will have the zip file and he can open that and directly see the output. So he can save the time. So that is what is meant by Bex broadcasting, information
And what is
broadcasting.
master data?
Master data is nothing but that is one more container which can store only the master data. We'll talk, there are two sets of data, master and transaction. Transaction related information, like customer 1 has purchased 10 kgs. Okay, so if you see this,
So key figures stored in the key figures stored in the transaction and the characteristic data stored in the master.
yeah, correct. So you're correct. So whenever we are saying that ABC has purchased 10 kgs, the master data would be 101 and ABC, and the transaction data would be 101 ABC and 10 kgs. Master data doesn't has any transaction related information like how much they have purchased or how much quantity. It's just a thing about, like, it is saying the customer details, customer
You got it?
information. Yeah,
Like dimensions.
yeah. So this is a separate one which we'll see little later. But as of now, you can understand that master data is this, transaction is this. Okay, so this is about the thing. Okay, so report designer. This tool is also available. What it means is report designer is some headers and footers, page numbers, those things cannot be done in the normal query designer. So if a client is interested in all those extra stuff, further uh, designing, we can use a report designer to design that. If someone is like this is also an earlier tool when business objects was not there. Whatever beautification they have to do, they can do it using the report designer. Nowadays it's not used.
Got it?
And like whenever we are running any report in the Bex analyzer, we can give an option to the user which data he wants to see. Like he doesn't require the entire data, he requires a certain company code data or a certain period data. So that flexibility is also there so that we can give him that option. He can see the output only for the period or the selection he gives. That is nothing but a variable entry.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about it. I'm done with the extended demo part. So the next class onwards we'll start with the info objects because that is the smallest part in BW. That is the building block, basic one. You start anything in BW with an info object. Okay, so uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So we will be walking through those other things like restricted key figures, and those will come as a part of when we are designing all these objects, correct?
yeah, correct. So
Okay, cool.
all this, like whatever was there in the topics over here listed, the restricted key figures, variables, filters, conditions, all the compression,
Yeah.
partitioning, whatever is there, we'll be covering it. Like if you see over here, like tomorrow we will be starting this types of data and then starting with the info object.
I see. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'm getting the concept now. Very good.
yeah, so that's the
And
reason.
your voice is very, very good.
Yeah, so that's the reason I have taken the overview so that once you're comfortable with an SAP, what is happening, then we can jump into it rather than just uh, doing with the info. I could have started with info object, but it doesn't make any sense. So I needed you all to have an overview. Okay,
Yeah. So,
so uh, there won't be any class tomorrow. I'm on. It's a Sunday for you. So the next class will be on Tuesday. Tu- Uh,
yeah.
my Tuesday, like my
Monday
Tuesday.
night.
Yeah. So
What time? Is the same time or?
yeah, the same time. That is more flexible for me, so that I can teach it freely. 6:30 in the morning. That's the today time. Okay, so it would be on
So today
10th.
is
Yeah,
30.
it's on
Just
11th.
so
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
6:30 your time, right?
yeah,
So
6
mine is going to be 9:30. I see.
5 p.m. right?
I have a BODS. Yeah, I have a BODS class which starts at 5:15 till 6 o'clock.
Okay, okay.
That's my only commitment with Ravi.
Okay, so with Ravi's classes, how long does it take? Maximum 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And what else does he do? He keeps chatting on Facebook, he keeps chatting on Skype, and he's ready with the next class. He's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
every time worried about the next class.
yeah. So that's my first experience, and since I already committed,
That,
I was
that
very worried. Like with this online experience, this is my first time experience. Usually I'm self learner,
yeah,
but since I have seen like, oh my God, like now he's missing the classes, and then pretty much whatever he explained, I know what he is doing. Like they are very basic things, like they are
yeah.
real time scenarios, like performance things. He's not getting in deep in those kind of issues. Like what are the best practices that we need to develop in
Yeah.
the system?
So
How we
what
can scale the
what
system?
Ravi tells during initial classes of BW demo is that I will be covering everything. His initial PPT would be excellent, right? Is initially
Yeah,
he has a PPT diagram which is excellent.
yeah.
And what is the reason he's saying for classes not happening? The server is down.
And the server issues and then his office issues and sometimes he's sick and blah blah.
And he also wants holidays, right? There is a
Yeah.
festival over here, and there is a
Yes.
thing. I have some family work. Yeah. It is
Yeah,
a hell of
exactly.
experience. It's a total
Yeah.
extreme with Ravi.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
was just really very like, what's going on? And I have commitment here in Microsoft. Microsoft is very demanding. So because of my holidays, I'm just getting some breathing here. So I want to make sure that I execute on this,
Okay.
in time. Plus, we are expecting another baby in January. So I have
Okay.
that, commitment. And then I want to change my job from Microsoft. It's been 5 years here in the product group, but
Okay.
I want to go out to SAP. And my brother, he used to work in SAP. He's in SAP since like 20 years.
Okay. Okay.
So he works for Warner Brothers in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I'm trying to move and join his business in SAP side.
Okay. 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 So
Yeah, yeah.
right now you're little free. You're not in any.
Correct. I am like I can dedicate for the next 3 weeks. Like if somebody, I'm taking like off for the next 3 weeks.
But with Ravi, like obviously, you can guarantee that the class won't happen at that day.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
obviously,
That's sure.
yeah. So that person, like whenever we ask any doubt, he says that that is a further topic. We'll
Right. Yeah,
see
he
it later
designed
on.
another curriculum. When I asked him like what are the best practices for ETL, he designed a separate curriculum for that, like how you
Yeah.
make your ETL successful. I said, come on.
Uh,
And
and now,
like the way you explain the architecture, he has not explained that. It's very real. Like I told you in the start, no doubt, exaggeration with this, that your method of teaching is really very good.
yeah,
And you explain it in a very very simple terms that it gets very straight. You are not making it complex. Some people make it complex that you get in confusion.
yeah.
So I have IT background, but still, like the way the method of teaching really matters.
Yeah, because like I feel that mostly this Ravi is money minded because he's not concentrating
Yeah.
even for that. At least if he concentrate for that 40 minutes, that would be sufficient. But that person
Right. Yeah.
is always
He
worried
designed
about
my
the next class.
Yeah. He designed my career path is like doing VO and blah blah and I done it myself like VO. I went through all material, how you design all the semantic layer. I know how the reporting architecture works.
Yeah,
And SAP HANA, I took up a book and I have the SAP system from SAP. They give for 30 days access. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
done all my trial on the SAP HANA there, and I know what's going on because I have MSBI experience like
Yes,
8 years. So I know in each product what is really going on, what data structure. But on the ETL side, he's just showing us really very basic. What is star schema? I mean,
yeah,
I know what is star
yeah,
schema, right?
yeah,
Show me something else.
yeah. I come across many people who have taken from Ravi, and they all say
Yeah,
the same
it is,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
I guess along with you, around three of them have joined in that same batch.
I see. Yeah, I have Charles and few other guys as well. I mean, the guys are not really kind of happy because of these absentees. Like,
Okay.
week you have this one class, and people give commitment. You come in, then you encounter, oh, there is no class. How come? Come on. You just tell us, like, okay, there will be no class. So everybody will
What
know,
is
like,
their reaction to him, like other people?
I mean, kind of, they are, some people give up, some people are not taking classes, they just gone. The other
Yeah.
people who are stick is just,
But
they
that
want to,
person, he gets his money, yeah. He's
yeah,
literally
yeah.
minting money and doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
He's,
Because of his experience, I was very reluctant, to join any other, like classes from there. I thought maybe, oh, that's like the quality is matters, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But I
of
guess
course,
he's
the
not
fee also
like,
matters, but the commitment, right? Like, if somebody commit, he should, fulfill that commitment.
yeah, but I guess he is not even working currently,
I
because he
see.
is all the time online and he is taking so many classes in the morning. He takes, like, he has a number of classes and each one is like 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, like that. He takes so many classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of that, I have few other friends. I have not recommended to take them
Yeah.
classes. Like I told them, hold on, like I will, told you which,
Yeah.
company you go for because I don't want my experience, kind of same experience happen with
Yeah.
them. So I just told them, hold on.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
definitely, yeah, I find these classes really very helpful. So I have a fully commitment to this one, even if the PODS classes, some of them I miss, I'm okay with that.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, and Ravi, I mean, his excuse is he works on the critical issues of office critical issues. So,
Okay.
but thank you so much for the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll be waiting for that email, and then yeah,
Okay.
we'll be continuing the class. Yeah,
Sure. Sure
thank you
then.
so much, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.